Welcome to Mine Explorers episode 50, 50, which is interesting because tomorrow I turn 40, 40, and I will be over the hill.
Over the hill and on your way down.
You're not too far behind me.
All right.
So you don't have the gray hair to show for it.
I do, actually. I have white hair coming in.
I have more gray hair, but I use Just for Men.
Do
and
you
they don't
now?
sponsor the show, but they should. If you want to send me like an extra case, I could use it.
There's nothing wrong with gray hair. I mean, Blue's full of it, and he still looks young and spry.
Blue is full of it.
All right.
He's got catitude. Cat's mad at me all the time for no reason.
Well,
He doesn't like the way I pet him, apparently. Oh, except for right now. Because we're on TV and there's evidence. So now he's being sweet.
he's a sweet cat.
He's not this sweet when nobody's watching.
All right, what are we talking about today?
Well, today is going to be a quicker episode. I'd like to do a recap of our last two guests, talk about a cool, homemade, slightly foolish project we decided to undertake involving silver, and then tease our next guest, who is going to be very exciting and I'm really looking forward to. So let's start by talking about John Weiss.
Yeah, let's talk about John Weiss. That was an interesting conversation, you know, him with his robust background in the mining world was really interesting, especially, you know, coming from a coal background and then, you know, working for John T. Boyd over the years. Thought that was
For almost 4 decades.
4 decades,
Yeah,
right?
He's been in mining for almost 4 decades.
So
and
he's
over
seen a
3
lot
with
of different
John T.
cycles, and just he kind of has the same take as we do of like, you know, it's really about public education at this point.
Yep.
And the general public does not understand mining and why we need it and all the different minerals that are a part of our daily lives.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's about education and awareness, and especially at a young age. And then, you know, one of the things I've realized over the past few years, really, is that it requires some empathy, too.
Yeah.
Like, it's really easy to go, oh, the public's dumb. They just don't know where minerals come from and where things come from. But it's like, it's not their fault.
It's not their fault that the mining industry has been so quiet for so long.
Right.
And
not involved in education.
And not involved in education, or even just like
very minimally.
PR campaigns about like, hey, your minerals are coming from here. This mine is producing this mineral, this is how it directly affects your life. So there's none of that. I mean, we've talked about that extensively on the show.
Yeah, and it's starting to grow. We're getting a little more of that, which is good.
It is good.
But it's shifting. And we've had that. That's actually been a theme with the last two guests, is the tide is turning. There's a lot more awareness, particularly of critical minerals and minerals that are really important that are currently being restricted.
Yeah.
And then you go, oh, well, tungsten, who cares about tungsten? And then you look at all the things it goes into.
Yeah.
And you're like, wow, if China decided to just completely stop exporting tungsten, then we're cut off from having access to all sorts of things. So, that was interesting. And then one of the things that he mentioned that we've talked about a little bit, but not much, is mineral deposits are getting smaller and grades are getting lower, and strip ratios, which for those you don't know means the amount of waste rock or overburden you mine for the amount of ore you mine. So if there's like 40 feet of dirt on top of the 10 feet of ore that you want to mine, then that's a 3-to-1 strip ratio or a 4-to-1 strip ratio. And so that is getting higher. And not only that, but because grades are getting lower, mines are generating more waste. The dumps are getting larger.
Yeah.
The tailings impoundments are getting larger. I'm working on a project right now in Arizona, and the dump is 500 million tons.
Wow.
That's how big it is.
It's a lot
and
of
that's
material.
one dump. There's a second dump, and the tailings impoundment is around the same size. And so not only is there more rock that needs to be removed to get to the ore body, but in actually processing the rock, because grades are lower, there's a lot more waste than there is product. And there's ways to use that and different things that can be done, and there's different programs out there that are finding ways to extract more value from waste streams. And we'll talk more about that in our next episode. But still, it's getting harder and more difficult. And so there's going to be more smaller mines to fill the gaps that single huge mines did before.
Right.
Particularly in metals. In aggregates and things like that, that's far from the case because we still have plenty of rock, although there are some pretty acute sand shortages around the world. But in the metals, yeah, mines are getting smaller and grades are getting lower and they're getting deeper too. Mm-hmm. So great conversation with John. Really enjoyed that.
Yeah.
Definitely worth a watch if you want to go back and see John Weiss 2 episodes ago. Really good conversation. 4 decades in the mining industry. Really good.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about a little bit of the metals prices because you keep sending me screenshots of the silver price and it is going nuts.
Yeah, so we are seeing a lot of volatility, and I keep a pulse on the commentary on X and Reddit and different places, and it's kind of interesting.
You're brave.
Because we see there's 2 camps. There's the one, we're in a bubble, this is going to crash, and then there's the other camp that's like, no, this is structural. This is a long time coming. I've been expecting this for a decade. We're just at the beginning. And I think the truth lies more on that side, but there's definitely some frothiness here and there. So there's some squeezes, there's physical shortages.
Yes.
There's definitely issues in London with the vaults and a shortage of physical supply. And there's a lot of retail buying right now, and retail selling. From what I'm seeing from dealers and different things. There's a lot of retail selling too, more selling than buying. And they're happy to buy. And there's some refineries that have put out notices that they're buying back. And they'll buy for like $15 under spot.
Wow. And
then they'll recast, do their other things, make different products. And so there's a lot going on. We saw silver go as high as $92, up to almost $93.
Yep.
Then just today, it's dropped 5% to $87 again, but it's still above 85. So for any of the silver miners, I mean, their margins are fantastic right now, and their stock prices have lagged for sure. There's a lot of upside there. Copper, solidly above 550 right now. Got up as high as $6. Got a little bit above $6. There's definitely a limit at $6. But most of the copper miners that we work with are really happy with $5,
right?
Above $5 copper. And so anywhere in here is just gravy for them. Copper is a long-term bull market.
I was going to say that one's going to continue for a while.
Long-term. Silver, the industrial case for silver is a long-term bull market.
Yep.
That's not letting up anytime soon. Gold is really still just driven on a lot of uncertainty. There's, Trump's going to run the market hot. He's going to do whatever he can to win midterms. He's going to replace the Fed chair, and he's going to push for cuts. And, there's just currency debasement. We're paying $1 trillion now regularly just on interest on the federal debt.
Oof.
And so the only way out of that hole is inflation. And you have to just debase the currency as much as possible to get out of that. And that is all very bullish for gold. So I don't think it's short term. I think we're seeing short term spikes, and we're going to see a lot of volatility this year in gold and silver. But the long term trend line is still very much up.
Yeah.
Yep. So, and everybody's got a different opinion. They're looking at fundamentals, they're looking at sentiment, they're looking at charts, which is just, I saw a really funny thing the other day that just said that charting is astrology for bros, for stock bros, which is hilarious because they'll draw the charts and they'll have the constellations and stuff. There's there's a teacup and there's the 3 handles and
fantastic.
The death cross and different things. And I've seen some interesting things with charting, and there's definitely some science to it, but people will always read what they want to read.
Oh, for sure. For sure. I just want to read that there is money coming into the exploration sector, and then we're going to have a phenomenal year.
That is true, and that is going to happen. It's not a ton of money. It's not that the door is wide open and it's a frenzy to get into exploration, but the door is open now.
Yeah.
I said in like 2018, 19, like the door's starting to crack open and like you can see a little light on the other side.
Right.
Now the door's open. Nobody's rushing through yet, but the door's open. The path is clear. But we need to see a lot of M&A activity at the top first.
Yeah.
And then there needs to be that trickle down, that waterfall of filling the pipeline with good projects. And so that's going to take a little bit, but we're getting there.
Yeah. I'm still hopeful for a good season. So
Yeah.
speaking of silver and the metal and all of that, we had a little adventure over the weekend.
Yes.
So we are celebrating 5 team members' 5-year anniversary or more.
5 years or more. This
5
is the
years
first
or
time we're
more.
starting to recognize 5-year anniversaries. So we have
A little bit of a
some
backlog.
that are 8, some that are 15,
Yeah,
16.
we don't count.
We have some big numbers, but for all the 5 people who are celebrating their anniversary or past it, we decided to make big 3-ounce silver coins.
Custom.
And we decided to sand cast them ourselves using a 3D print of the coins that we designed, and then we pressed it into the sand, and there's a whole process.
That we'll show
And
here.
yeah, we'll show the B-roll of this process. So
Yep.
first of all, sand casting a highly detailed coin
Is
with 0.999 fine silver is very difficult.
very difficult.
And I did not know that. I didn't do a lot of research. I just
All
said,
we
you know
knew-
what? I think we can do this.
We just wanted a cool custom Burjex coin that we could give our team members, and we didn't realize how hard it was going to be throughout.
And we thought it might be fun. And it was, in a way.
It was
It's fun
fun.
looking back.
It was fun in a way. I could have doing that without the flu. I think
All
that would have
the-
made it better.
Crystal had the flu, and I burned my fingers a lot, but they're all fine now. No major burns, just first degree. But sand casting, let's talk a little bit about the process. So first, we designed the coin. Then we took the coin, and we had it 3D printed and professionally. So it's really well done, really good detail. It's made with resin, it's cleaned up really well.
Yep.
Then you take fine sand, 400 mesh sand
400
that's
mesh
really
sand.
fine. And this sand is oil free, so you actually, it's got a clay mixture in it. And so you add water to get the viscosity just right.
Yep.
And it says viscosity on the bucket, but I think that's the wrong word. But basically just getting it to where it's got the right stickiness.
Yeah.
So that it sticks, but it's not too
It has to be
stick.
compactable.
It compacts in a whole detail. So if you get
Yep.
it perfect, you squeeze it in your hand and you can actually see
like all your
your
finger.
skin
Yep.
lines and everything in the clay. So, or in the sand clay. So you take that, you pack it into what's called a coffin flask. And in this flask, you pack the sand on one side, you tamp it down really good, you flip it over, powder it, and we used calcium,
Carbonate, did we?
calcium carbonate that was really finely ground, almost too fine because it's reagent grade that I used to make lime for testing
Oh.
pozzolan. So I recycled. So is our furnace. The muffle furnace that we use is also from the pozzolan testing.
Right.
But, dual use. It gets hot enough to melt silver.
No, for
so.
sure. It works great.
Then you calcium carbonate, then you tamp down the other side. Then you very carefully carve out a channel for the silver. And we found that as an art.
Yes.
You've got to carve it just right. If you carve it straight down, it'll embed molten sand in your silver. If you come in from the side and the channel's too long, it might cool too much
Right.
and
And
not
then
fill
most
the
of your
coin all the
silver will
way.
be outside of the coin.
Yeah, so trial and error, 2 full days of casting,
How many coins do you think we made total?
about 12.
Yeah.
And then I remelted.
a lot of fragments.
I remelted a bunch.
Because about half of those were just fragments.
So I still have a whole box of rejects.
Yeah.
That I'm talking 25, 30 ounces of reject
Right.
silver that I need to remelt, but it's full of sand now, so I got to scrub it and then melt it and then skim off the silica.
Yeah.
Put some flux in. I bought borax. So anyway,
Anyways.
then you heat the silver, pour the silver, and you have to pour the silver very quickly. or it'll cold shut
About
because it's
10
fine
seconds.
silver. So it's got to be hot to 1,040 degrees Celsius, very hot. You've got to pour really quickly, let it cool for really just a minute or two, open it up, and then you've got hopefully a good coin with good detail.
Hopefully.
And then you take a bastard file, you file off the edges, cut the top off. I used a Dremel to cut the top off, but I found that I got a lot better results if I used just a hacksaw with a metal blade.
Oh, really?
So I ended up hacksawing them off. That
Okay.
worked way better. I had way less waste. Because I realized, like, I bought most of my silver at like 15, 16 bucks an ounce. And so at that, like, you lose a little bit of silver, you're like, whatever. Doing these coins at $85 an ounce,
Well, I think we
and
bought
up
the
to $90
silver
an ounce
at $50 an ounce.
yeah. And then you're watching all the silver dust go everywhere, and you're like at the end, I'm like wiping off the table, and there's like $30 of silver dust
you're
on
like,
it.
this is
I'm like, I
expensive
could probably
now.
recover this and pan it out.
We're like trying to get every little fragment back into the jar.
Yeah, so it's all in my vacuum cleaner now. The vacuum cleaner's probably got 20 bucks of silver in it, in dust. I could pan the things, so that's a process for another day.
Yeah.
Then we cleaned them up, sanded them, and we have great coins that are definitely pirate coin looking and
Little
homemade.
pirate coin looking, but
you can read 'em.
You can read the
They're
detail.
readable.
You can read we solve the challenges of mining and then all of our core values.
So I appreciate that they're homemade, and I think our team will really appreciate that we made them by hand, because I think all said and done, I spent at least 2 hours on every coin.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Getting them just right.
For sure.
And just right is still pretty rough, but you know what? It was
But
fun.
for pirate coins, I think we did pretty darn good.
That level
honestly.
of detail, sand casting for fine silver, I think we can be pretty proud of.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
next year we have about 7 5-year anniversaries, so we'll
I'll
have
be
to find
ready.
a different.
I know what to do, but I think we should tweak the mold a bit.
Definitely treat the bowl.
Bigger letters, deeper letters, and we'll get much better results.
For
But
sure.
those people with the first year coins, I hope they're proud of them.
Oh, it's special.
Do you have a speech to go with them?
A little bit.
Can we hear it?
No.
No? Secret?
Well, it's going to be individualized.
Oh, so you have a speech for each person?
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, yeah. I mean,
All
it's
right.
kind of a big deal.
That's the Burgex difference. The CEO makes a speech for each person, and hand makes a 5-year anniversary
It's
coin.
very special. If you come work for us, you're in for a real treat.
Yeah.
Cool.
Well, that was fun, and we did it. We made it, but it took the whole weekend, and Crystal had the flu, and she was very brave and helped
Would
anyway.
not recommend doing that with the
I
flu, but-
enlisted her just to help me make one mold, and she did so much of a better job than I did.
I set the
that I had her
standard.
make the rest. But after she left, I copied her methods, and I made 2 coins that were just as good.
Yep.
So
It's an art.
one more thing I want to talk about before we go. We had a really good conversation with David Boardman last week from Every Point and Stockpile Reports. And David was really good to have on the show because with Stockpile Reports, he works across all bulk materials that have stockpiles. But that's put him in the trenches of the aggregate industry for quite some time now. And so he has the mining experience, but he's a computer scientist and a technologist by trade, by calling. And so it was really interesting bringing him into the conversation about AI
Yeah, I
and
bet.
machine learning and safety and technology, and how technologists like him are always visualizing the future, and they see it. Like, he imagined the iPhone 20 years before it was the iPhone. He imagined AI and all these things, and how a lot of technologists see that stuff coming, but it takes a long time to get there. And throughout the conversation with him, we talked about the peak of euphoria in tech, where everything gets crazy and frothy and there's tons of CapEx. So he sent me a follow-up to our interview where he sent me some statistics yesterday that 65% of investment last year went into AI.
Wow.
And that's like tech specific, but that's all into AI.
That's where it's
65%.
going.
That's not like global, but that's tech, global tech investment, 65% into AI.
Jeez.
Up from like 30 or 40 the year before. So huge peak euphoria. And then he says we should get ready to drop down into the trough of disillusionment. And we're starting to head there. You can see the signs, and that should last 5 or 6 years, and then things will really take off again. Because, there's a lot of promises about AI, and now the rubber hits the road. What's it really good for? What's it not good for? How can we use it? And so I recommend checking out that conversation. And then just to wrap up, we have a fantastic guest next week. Dr. Richard Bishop, professor practice at Virginia Tech.
Yep.
And he also consults for Stan Tech, and he has decades of mining experience across globally. And a lot of what he's been doing recently is really exciting government-funded research of critical minerals throughout the United States with a big focus on the Eastern United States.
Yeah, that'll be a great conversation.
Great conversation. So, and we will talk about that waste, recovering minerals from mining waste and legacy waste and things like that, which I think is really exciting because it's something we've talked about in the industry for years. But now there's actual pilot programs with serious backers who are doing that kind of stuff. So it's good to talk to somebody who's actually testing some of that technology.
Yeah, for sure.
Tune in next week.
Awesome. Well, with that, until next time.
Thanks for watching.